Hi, Louise. Welcome to Community Living. My name is Malabungosi. Thank you for joining this week's episode. And as you can see in the caption, we'll be answering why do I have almost 14 accounts, right? So these are not necessarily bank accounts, but I'll call them accounts because there's some form of financial transaction that happens in them, right? So I will take you through the various accounts that I have and which financial service providers did I take up the accounts with, right? So the reason behind this video is because I had this video, which is the get to know me tag and the financial version, right? And one of the comments was to ask, like, why do I actually multiple comments were like, why do I have so many accounts and all those things? And a lot of people are just confused, like, 14 fam, what are you thinking of? 6 financial service providers, what are you thinking of? But I am using the 22/7 sort of way of saying these are accounts because there's some financial transaction happening within them, not necessarily that they are bank accounts. As I've said, there's 6 financial service providers that I interact with financially, and there are multiple accounts within those service providers, right? That leads to almost 16 or 14 accounts. I think the 14 are active accounts, and then 16 is like 2 are probably not so active. And I'll come to explain what everything means, right? So the very first account is with Nedbank. So these are the 2 check accounts or check cards that they provide you. They give you a Visa and an American Express one. And I have a video whereby I explain the fact that I have a young professional banking account, right? So I'm not going to go into why it's a black card and all those things. That is the very first account that I have, or that's the first financial service provider that I have. And within that financial service provider suite, I have about 5 accounts, right? So the first one is the everyday banking. The second one is the 32-day savings account. And then the fourth one is a pocket saving. The fourth one, it's a rewards sort of system or reward card. And then the fifth one is a credit card, right? So these 2 might not be seen as like accounts, but they count as accounts on the Money app and also on the 22/7 app. So hence I see them as accounts, because I think a lot of people, when you say have an account, they're thinking of an everyday banking, and that's not necessarily the case. In December, I opened up an account with Capitec, right? So that was the second financial service provider that I opened up an everyday banking account with. And the reason why I decided to do that is because with Capitec, whenever you put money in your everyday account, you can gain like interest with it just chilling. Because sometimes you pay your bills, you pay your debts, you buy whatever you have to buy, and then your money is just idling in your account, and you don't have like a specific use for it, or you have a use but for a later stage. There could be accruing interest within that period. Hence, I decided to open up a Capitec account. And within the Capitec account, I initially opened up a 52 weeks savings account. So I have 2 accounts within that account. But right now, I've reverted back to just having 1 account in there because I moved my 52 weeks savings account to Time Inc. Right? So technically I have 2 accounts, but actively I have 1 account, right? And then we go to Time. This account is your normal everyday account, right? And I hardly use it, but sometimes I'll put like maybe a K or so that I can be able to buy stuff, or if I want to send money to my savings account. Then in that account, I have 3 more accounts, right? Or I open up 3 goal saves that sort of act as accounts, right? So for Time Bank, they allow you to open up to 3 goal saves within the everyday banking suite, right? And I sort of utilized that. The first was an emergency fund, which ended up I had to demolish that goal save. So with Time Bank, when you take out money, it's like your killing that account, so that account doesn't exist anymore. If you want to continue to save money, let's just say you save 5,000, right, and you want just 1,000 from it, you have to take out the entire 5,000 and start another account or another goal save with them, and return the 4K to that goal save, and you start from zero, right? By zero, I don't mean 0%, but I mean like their tiered service with in terms of interest rate. So you'll start by getting 4% in that month, and then next month, after 30 days, you get 5, after 90 days, you get 6, and then if you're trying to get your money, if you give them 10 days notice, then you get like 1 additional percentage from what they've already given you. So that's the tiered interest rate service that they're providing. And so that's basically what I wanted to say about TymeBank. And then I had 3 goal saves. One was the emergency fund. The second one was the 52 weeks. As I've mentioned, that I moved it from Capitec to TymeBank, right? So I haven't recorded a video regarding 52-week savings account, but I will record a video just explaining how it works at a later stage, and I'll link that video once I've recorded it, right? And then the third one was for the laptop, and there will be a separate video that explains how I bought the laptop and what sort of financial goals did I employ and what methods did I employ to ensure that I buy the laptop debt free, right? Because it's quite an expensive laptop, and the reasons why I decided to buy that laptop as well. So, but that'll be at a later stage, and I'll also link that video when I get to that point, right? And the third goal save, so it's an emergency fund, 52 weeks, and the laptop. So that was the third one. So we're done with TymeBank. Then we're left with 3 financial service providers. These are not commercial banks. One is a stockbroker platform, right? Like a virtual stockbroker platform, which is Easy Equities. I've recorded multiple videos regarding Easy Equities. I'll link both of them here. How to use the Easy Equities platform. I've recorded the top 5 financial apps, and Easy Equities is one of the apps that were mentioned. I've also recorded a review as to what I think of the platform and the app. So I'll link all those videos if you're interested in finding out more about Easy Equities. But yes, I have about 4 accounts on that platform. So the first one is the Easy Equities ZAR account. So that just enables you, or enables me, to be able to buy JSE listed companies or listed securities, right? The reason why I'm not saying companies is that on a stock exchange, there are various securities. It's not just shares, what we know as shares or equities or stocks, right? You have your ETFs, you have your ETNs, and on the platform itself, you've got bundles, right? You've got basket bundles, and also a form of cryptocurrency security, right? So yeah, that is the first one. And then the second one is the tax-free savings account. So I have one tax-free savings account, and that was my first tax-free savings account. I'm not yet maximizing on the yearly limit that is like 36,000. I've also recorded a video explaining what a tax-free savings account is about and the benefits of using one and all those things. So if you're interested, please check out that video as well. I'll link it above, and just click on it and find out more about it. It's a very exciting tool to use in your financial journey, and I really encourage you to start using it now and maximizing on that limit that is provided, so that 20 years from now you can get your investment tax-free. Dividends are not taxed, so you're not charged on capital gain tax, you're not interest income tax, right? You're not charged on any of those things. So all the money that you get goes right back into your portfolio, and you will get it at some point tax-free, right? You have a 500,000 lifetime limit, but as I've said, if you're really interested in finding out more about the tax-free savings account, you can go to that video and find more information about it. Then the third account that I have with Easy Equities is Easy Equities USD account, right? So same thing as the ZAR account, it enables me to buy stocks in the like US stocks basically, right? Then the Easy Equities AUD or Australian dollar account, right? It enables me to do the same thing as the ZAR account, but on the Australian market. So they've got 3 different markets. If you didn't know, now you know. And I have 4 accounts. One of them, I have 4 accounts with all those stock markets, and then the tax-free savings account, which just has ETFs. So it doesn't have all the other securities. And from what I've heard, the tax-free savings account only uses ETFs that are listed as collective scheme ETFs, like under the regulatory board, they are listed as collective scheme ETFs, right? They are not your normal ETFs. So yeah, that is the 4th financial service provider. Then the 5th one is Luno. In the Get to Know Me, I spoke about the first asset that I bought, which was cryptocurrency, and to be specific, it's fractional share of Bitcoin, right? So I have a Luno account, and in the Luno account I have 2 different coins that I bought, the normal Bitcoin and Ethereum coin as well. So I didn't buy an entire coin. I'm not rich. I'm just I'm not anywhere near rich, guys, but I'm gonna be rich. Please record this. Please keep this. I'm gonna be rich. Telling you this now. I'm gonna be rich, man. So that is the ultimate goal. Like, we're not lowering the bar for anyone. I'm not even lowering the bar for myself, just to be like, I'm gonna be comfortable. I'm not gonna be comfortable. I'm gonna be rich. Don't know how as of yet, but there are crumbs that suggest that we're gonna get there. And yeah, I digress, David. Anyways, that is what's happening on the Luno account. And then the last service provider, the 6th service provider, is Altcoin. So when I was dabbling in cryptocurrencies, I started with Luno, and then I was like, okay, Luno's safe. Let's see what's out there, right? Let's see what's out there. At that point, it was just Bitcoin and Ether, right? So I had an entire list of, I think there was 500 or 1,000 altcoins. They're called altcoins, alternative coins from normal Bitcoins, coins like Ripple, Litecoin, and all like more something, Monaco. Yeah, there are a lot of them. So then I found out that Altcoin offers all these other alternative coins, and I then hopped onto the platform as well just to buy those alternative coins. I bought Ripple. I think I bought Litecoin as well. But that account has 40 or 60 bucks in it. It has drastically decreased from the time I bought the amount. I think I bought something worth 500, and now it's it's 10 times less. And it just comes to show that investments are not always profitable, and you have to understand what you're investing in and how you're going to generate money from that investment before you just go into hearing people talking about altcoins, mining this and this and this, but you don't even understand what it all entails. Those are my whatever number of accounts. I can't even keep track with the 6 financial providers that I took them out with. So thank you very much, and I hope you now understand why I have those accounts. I don't see any one of them having to go at this point in time. They for various reasons, and I think I'm gonna continue using them the same way that I've been using them. And yeah, so thank you. If you have any further questions regarding this, you can comment down below. If there's a need for a part 2, we'll do the part 2. If not, we'll just reply in the comment section. So thank you very much for joining us in this week's episode. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your week. So thank you for joining. Love you.